Hey guys, welcome to Cult Film Interview, the podcast where we discuss the films you love but no one else gets, and we see if they still hold up. Tonight, we're breaking Chris out of the state home of the ugly. Tonight, we're breaking Chris out of the state home for the ugly because we're talking about the Garbage Pail Kids. So let's start the show. Hey guys, thanks for joining the cult. We really appreciate it. I am your host, Cody Everett. Do me a favor, head over to iTunes, leave us a review. We will give you a shout out at the end of the show. We got one to do.
Shout out.
Then when you're done with that, head over to cultfilmandreview.com. Make sure you get your request in. Also, pick up a t-shirt. And as always, I am joined by Kyle Smith.
Hey, how's it going?
Chris Willenbeck.
Hey, what's up?
And Michael Slustio.
Hello, everybody.
Tonight, we are talking about the Garbage Pail Kids movie. It was directed by Rod. I cannot say that last name. And was written by Rod and Melanie Palmer.
Amatu?
I would think
Amatu?
Amato.
Let's go with the
Amatow.
Manitude.
Rod Manitude.
Manitude.
It's like the
Hey,
best
Cody.
porn name ever.
Oh,
Drop
dude.
the Manitude.
What's your name? My name's
Manitude.
Rod Manitude.
Came out in 1987, had a budget of $1 million. Let me tell you, crushed the box office with $1.6 million is what it made.
It's called Profit.
And I think this
Cleared
might
it.
be the first time. I don't think we've ever said this before, but this currently is sitting at a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That is fantastic.
And I think that's like
that's the
13
lowest.
reviews.
That's the lowest.
That is probably the lowest.
I mean, it's as low as you can go.
Yep.
So
Cody, this is your pick.
it's at least sharing it.
Why'd you pick this movie?
I picked this movie because this is one I've heard. I've heard it a lot, around, and I've never
Rumblings.
seen it. Yeah.
Who on the streets is talking about
you
Garbage
got
Pail
rumblings
Kids?
Yeah.
about
It's one
this.
it's one of those ones where I've always heard it like it's one of the worst movies ever, and you're like, well, how bad could it be? Like, it's the Garbage Pail Kids, you know what I mean? And I was at my local video store. Yes, I said my local video store, Superstar Video here in Arizona.
Jesus.
Check Glendale, Arizona. Check them out, Superstar Video. They have a Facebook.
They have a MySpace.
Pretty damn close to it, actually. But I was there and I saw it and I picked it up. It was a 99-cent Monday. I said, I'll spend 99 cents on this. So we had to record this one early, and I panic picked, and I already had it, and I was like, Garbage Pail Kids.
Here we go.
I feel like you didn't panic pick. I feel like you went back and forth between like something good and this.
Dude, you were talking about this film for like 2 weeks. Like, you
Yeah.
could have changed it at any time.
Yeah,
You are not under the gun to pick this one.
You
Yeah.
chose to stick to your guns.
Way under the gun. Last minute pick.
Oh, man.
Just
what a
shot my
lie this
shot.
is.
These are lies.
Buzzer went off. Ball in the air.
Yeah.
Does it go in the hoop? We're about to find out.
Don't let Cody feed you his lies.
That's what is happening. Now, had anyone heard of or seen Garbage Pail Kids before tonight?
Yes.
Kyle, you had.
Yes, I had. I actually this what's funny is Garbage Pail Kids, like as a concept itself, goes way back to my childhood. My brothers had the trading cards and they used to talk about them all the time, and they watched the movies, and it's what's funny is like I never got around to actually seeing the movie when I was a kid, and it wasn't until maybe I was like around 17 that I finally watched it, and I watched it with much anticipation because I've heard all about these different characters. Like some chick's got like boogers she throws everywhere, and someone who's farts, and as a kid that's hilarious. And so I did watch it for the first time probably when I was 17, and I remember thinking like, huh. And then I went back and rewatched it probably about 2 years ago and thought, what the fuck am I still sitting through this for? And then you asked me to watch it again. So here we are.
Thrice times.
Three times.
Maybe the person who's ever seen this movie the most.
I think Mike
times.
might have me beat. I'm just going to go on a gamble.
This is that's a good thing to bring up too, because we didn't talk about that before we move on to the next guys. Maybe give our audience a little backstory. If you don't know, the Garbage Pail Kids was a
Tops.
It was a Topps card collecting
Tops Gum
cards.
Tops Gum cards.
Right.
Yeah.
You would just,
And they were these gross, disgusting characters that were pretty funny, cool art that you would with these round heads, and they were a knockoff of Couch Patch Kids, basically, and they were making fun of those, and it was kind of like a Mad Magazine type
Right.
card collecting thing. So that's where these characters are coming from. which you will find out in the opening credits when it says a Tops chewing gum, or Tops
I
card
thought this has to be the only movie
production.
in the universe that opens with a Tops chewing gum production.
right? Yeah.
Wasn't Angels in the Outfield another Tops?
Oh, man.
I don't know.
Was it?
I don't know, man. I
don't
feel
know.
like they probably could have made a baseball movie, though. That's for sure.
Chris?
I more than likely watched this movie with your brothers because I definitely saw this as a kid. Actually, it's a pretty early one for me. Like I would even say back maybe like 5 years old is probably the first time I saw this. Not that I remembered anything about it, but I do remember this. There's a couple movies that I kept renting from the video store or seeing possibly with, Brother Ryan and all of them.
Yeah.
Is like this, The Purple People Eater, Ninja Turtles. These were I feel like they all kind of had a weird similar vibe. And I liked it as a kid, but it, again, that was maybe 7, 8 years old. I do recall going back and trying to watch this again, like maybe in my early 20s and not making it through. And I thought maybe, maybe I fell asleep, but I don't know. Maybe it put me to sleep.
So deep.
Yeah,
that
I
put
loved
your
it. Loved it.
ass to sleep. Mike?
Yeah, I'd seen it.
Theaters?
No,
Damn,
I
dude, I thought-
definitely don't think I saw it in theaters, but it wasn't too far behind the theatrical release because I saw it as a kid. Probably went back to rent it.
Did your dad have a Betamax? I feel like your dad had a Betamax.
No, we had a VHS.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we ever had.
I feel like your
Betamax.
dad would have gotten onto like whatever tech bandwagon
The
was happening.
Salustios are a Betamax family.
They were at first. They were Team Betamax and then begrudgingly converted to VHS.
No, we were always like the family that we always bought things 2 or 3 years later after
HD
they came
DVD.
out.
Got that too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
No,
and
he
an
did.
HD TV.
HD VHS.
HD VHS,
HD
Laserdisc.
DVD, yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, I probably saw it shortly after it came out on video. I'd probably seen it a few times between that, but probably more like when I was 12 or something.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely, I haven't seen this since I was a kid.
Okay.
But I know I had seen it more than once within the span of when did this movie come out? What did we say?
87.
87. So I would have been I probably saw it when I was 8. So between 8 and 12, I had probably seen maybe once or twice.
Wow. So this was my first time watch.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd never seen this movie before. This was
Who
not
told
on
you
our-
about this?
Yeah, where did the rumblings come from?
I've seen it on Facebook groups. Other podcasts have covered this movie.
I own this film.
Yeah. And the cover
is-
art is pretty much, I'm pretty
I
sure
think
I've
I
seen this
might own
fucking
it
cover
too,
art
actually.
everywhere.
I think
Yeah.
the characters you do see in pop culture still today. I think I've seen them at cons and
I see the trading cards. The trading cards came back. They reissued those
Yeah.
in the last 5-10 years, I think.
Yeah.
And they added new characters to the roster.
Did Shout Factory or somebody put this movie back out
So I
again?
think someone that did maybe? I don't know. Who knows?
yeah, I have no
You
idea.
know.
Well, we can find out. Anyways.
Well, while we're finding that out, we should probably get to plots with Mike.
Okay, so
You reading it?
it's no. I'm just trying to think where to start. It's a weird story. Let's be honest.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a strange sort of film.
There's this kid. His name is Dodger. He gets bullied by
An adult.
Yeah, what I think is I don't know where the cross between bully and criminal happens, but these guys are definitely in their 30s, so I would call this just theft.
Yeah.
People that
I'm so happy you said 30s.
they're just what are they called? They stick up artists? What the fuck are they called?
Fucking gang members,
stick-up
dude.
artist?
I don't
No,
know.
not gang members. What?
A stick-up artist. He's such a perfectionist about his art.
I'm a
of
master of
sticking up
stick-up.
people.
What do they call
Give me
that?
your wallet. Hey,
A
man.
mugger.
You don't say that.
A mugger.
They're muggers.
A mugger.
They're
just a
mugger,
group of
gang
muggers.
of
They're
muggers.
gangbangers.
with a
They're-
leader.
No.
They're quote-unquote 80s gangbangers.
I am not a mugger. How
I
dare
guess.
you? How
So
dare you
anyways-
call me a mugger? I am a stick-up artist.
These guys.
Use the correct term, you son of a bitch.
Stick-up
Jesus.
artist. I didn't go to stick-up school
Stick-up
for
school.
years to be called a mugger. Anyways, so this kid Dodger's getting bullied by these guys. They're stealing his money and all this other shit. He runs home and he lives with this guy called. He works with this guy.
I was gonna say, does
this is
he?
his family.
Right? This is a
Well,
question
it
we
seems
haven't
like he
asked.
does, but
Yeah, he
just
works for
works for him. He works for
Captain-
Captain Manzini,
There you go.
who owns like a shop of curios.
It was an antique store.
Yeah, okay.
Magic, Mike.
He's got a bunch of weird stuff. He's also kind of a mysterious dude, and he has this garbage pail that he just absolutely keeps telling this kid, you can touch anything in the store, you can't touch this garbage pail. Of course, bullies show up. They not the bullies, though.
The bullies
right?
show up.
Is it the bullies that do it? Okay, the bullies show up, and they ended up accidentally knocking over the garbage pail. Out comes the Garbage Pail Kids, which are these gross, disgusting guys. And then from then on, it's just him trying to get this kid, Dodger. He's actually infatuated with one of the weird muggers.
Yeah.
Her name is Tangerine. And the Garbage Pail Kids help him on a quest to try to win her heart.
Yeah, that's good. You did it.
I think that's about it.
Also,
Yeah,
while
you did it. You got
also
to the
while
end.
trying to free another half of them that has gone missing.
Yeah, another half of them.
Yeah.
They do mention that some of them have gone missing and they miss their friends.
Their brothers and sisters.
They
and
literally
some of
mention it.
Yeah.
Well, they mention it twice. That you see when
It's
they
a big
first
plot
get when
point.
they
What do you
first
mean?
when they first get on their own. You could see what's her name, the vomit chick. She's like looking for a friend. She says their names, which their other playing cards that just weren't featured in it.
Right. It's for the sequel.
Definitely for the sequel.
Fucking sequel.
Definitely for the sequel.
they mention what happens to the kids.
They get killed.
Well, no, they do mention what happens to the kids, but I'm saying yes, it was set up throughout the film that they were looking for their friends.
Right.
Yes.
No, when you said a sequel, I thought you meant like another part with the friends.
I didn't say sequel.
Oh, who said sequel?
Chris said sequel.
I said, yeah, they could set it
You
up
know
for
what
a
happened?
And I
sequel.
laughed at the
Do you know what
notion of a
happened?
sequel.
Do you know what happened to the friends? Christopher Lloyd showed up,
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
and he got out this vat, and he picked up
is
one
this-
of them.
Who framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
Frame Roger Rabbit right now? Is that what we're doing? Okay.
So, anyways, that's the plot.
That's the plot. And with that being said, let's take a break, and we'll be right back. And we're back. We're talking about the greatest movie of all time, Garbage Pail Kids.
MGM put
Ben
this out, by the
Hur.
way.
So,
Who?
MGM. They're the only ones that have released it that I can see.
Okay.
thank you, Chris.
I'm glad that they're still releasing this. That seems like a weird thing for MGM to do.
So, the movie opens with a trash can just floating through space.
So trash can
Yeah.
space with rockets on the bottom, and it's tumbling out of control.
Which these, so tumbling out of control.
Rockets aren't doing a fuck all.
And the next thing you know, it's just in a shop. It doesn't say how it gets there or
Yeah.
anything like that. It's
They
just
don't
in a
have a
shop.
budget for that. This is $1 million, Cody.
So, but that just tells me like either. So I have this question of like when and where does this kind of happen? Because I get the impression from Captain Manzini that these creatures have been around for a very long time
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
and like generations
Okay.
of time
Okay.
and
Like eons.
eons,
I don't
Okay.
think that.
maybe even century.
Does it play into the story at all?
No,
How
not at
old
all.
they are?
No, not in the slightest.
No. But it also makes me question Captain Manzini because they're aliens? Are they aliens?
Yes, they're aliens. They came from a spaceship.
And he controls them with magic?
Yes.
He learned.
Yes.
He learned
a
how to
magician.
harness them.
He's a magician.
So is he a magician
He's a
or
sorcerer supreme.
is he a magician
There it is.
or is he like Merlin?
No. He's a dude. He's a world traveler. He learned magic he learned the mystic arts when he was traveling some part of the world. He probably knows a bunch of other cool like tools
yeah.
and mystical like
Is he the
things.
Shadow?
You don't fucking wear vests like that if you haven't seen shit.
Is he the fucking Shadow?
Yeah, Chris said that.
He might be the shadow.
He might be the Shadow.
Okay. He could be, the Shadow. He's
Or
in his
he
old
could just
age,
be
but,
be an eclectic, weird old guy that likes to have 13-year-old boys helping him in the shop. I
Well,
don't
this is
know,
a real
Cody.
like
He's
Black
14,
Cauldron
almost 15,
situation. This is a
Kyle.
Black Cauldron situation.
Yeah, it's totally a Black Cauldron situation. I think he's a mysterious guy with some magical powers.
Boom.
He learns to, I guess, control these aliens from space.
He probably found him on another adventure.
Yeah.
One of his
Yeah.
adventures, he found the trash can.
This place
Right.
is like the Warren
And he's
Museum.
honestly he's protecting them because
Yes.
they go to great lengths to say how dangerous it is for them because the normies would want to
Hurt them.
hurt these creatures, and he's obviously someone who's got like a soft heart for these creatures,
He's
and
got-
he's like
yeah.
he
Well,
wants
but-
to like care for them. He's
Which
a caretaker.
I'd also like to note, like, in the absolute worst way, like, he's essentially saying like, okay, like the world out there is really dangerous, so I'm going to imprison you forever.
Yes.
Like that's essentially.
But
what they,
he
'cause
also
those kids
points out that
absolutely
they're-
make a point that they do not want to be in that fucking can.
Right, but
The
he also
pail is
he
jail.
also
That's
makes
the
a very
arc.
strong point to compare them to Pandora's box, and he's like, yes, these might be well-meaning creatures, but they also are chaos.
And also that it does that character arcs to basically, because you're right, he does want to cage these creatures.
I mean, he was an oppressor. Like, can
Yeah,
we
he's
just-
an oppressor.
But don't you think he was doing?
Yes, he was doing it for their own good. That's
Yes,
what he thought.
he was doing it for their
was.
own good.
But then he
And
learns
he learns
at the
along
end.
the way.
He learns at the end.
Like you taught
can't
me.
contain this shit.
Like this little kid apparently taught him a lesson in this film, which I never saw happen.
No.
And he learned, you know what? You can't.
Yes, he did.
You
He-
can't
what do
cage.
you
You can't
mean?
cage him.
I don't know,
He
man.
did teach him a lesson.
What
This-
lesson?
this was-
It's the line at the very end. It's the lost line where he's
Yeah,
like,
I get that.
who
I
concedes.
get that.
The conceding.
I get that the kid simply repeated something.
Who concedes?
But that's not learning a lesson.
No, a lesson was learned.
You don't teach a lesson just by saying words to
No,
somebody.
Man, I gotta say, this is getting real like a Black Snake Moan situation going on here. Like
Yeah.
he's keeping you and oppressing you, but for your own good, you'll be a better person
Yeah.
after I'm done.
Yeah.
Like essentially, is
No.
Alligator is a better leader by the end of this
He
film.
learned that he learned that Mr. Manzini learned that you can't cage something and you need to let it go out and be.
true.
I'm- wait,
all
whoa,
I'm
whoa,
saying
whoa.
that this was a pretty big crime.
Whoa,
for
whoa, whoa,
This
whoa.
wasn't like, and
That's
this is
not
how
a
I
crime.
learned to give pennies.
What?
Whoa.
Keeping aliens in a trash
It's not a
can.
crime. They're not from. They don't fall within human jurisdiction. They're aliens.
Time out.
It's a crime.
Nobody's made
it's a
rules
moral
about this.
crime to
You-
imprison something.
But
You
would
can
it-
imprison
Well,
a cat in your house. You can imprison.
That's true.
a
Why
cat.
do you got 3 cats in prison here? They all want to leave. I
Kyle,
see in their
Kyle,
eyes.
can I say that I have mentioned this multiple times on other podcasts that if when a creature starts talking, it scares the shit out of me because the first thing it's going to say is, "So am I a pet or am I like a slave? Like what's going on here?" Like in the moment that happens,
You're a love
You're in
slave.
deep shit because you're going to have to explain away what the fuck you've been doing with
You're
this
gonna be like,
thing
no, I
for
told
10
you
years.
you can leave anytime you want. You just never heard me because you didn't speak English.
You didn't run out
Oh
fast
my god,
enough.
you totally didn't get
Every
it.
time
We're
I
like
opened the
best
door,
friends.
like that was me trying to let you out, but you just stayed. It was so weird.
Really, because you kept like shooing me with a broom.
So that's
Yeah.
basically what
Anyways.
these like characters are. They are
cats.
pets to this kid. They're like pets to this kid, and they do play them off as such. Like like these humans have to tame them and have to keep them at bay and
Jesus.
control them, and this is what it is. But then they break out.
Sounds bad, doesn't it, Kyle?
Only when Chris says stuff.
I don't know.
They also use their special abilities for fashion and clothes making.
And by the way,
to
like-
their advantage.
I will say the first time it wasn't. I don't feel like it was a used thing. They were genuinely trying to help their friend, but then he came back and was like, "All right, so I need you guys to do that same shit like 28 times by tomorrow." So that was
Thanks.
him using them. But I
Yes.
feel like the initial act of making him look cool, quote unquote, came from a genuine place that the Garbage Pail Kids wanted to help.
Yeah, of course. They're friends, Like this is a kids movie. I really feel like
What the? No.
I do feel like
It
it's
wasn't
a kids
supposed to
movie.
be.
I feel like
This actually wasn't supposed to
poop
be.
and pee and boogers are funny to kids
Yeah. Okay.
and
okay,
adults.
no. I don't disagree with that. And just
And
to
farts.
go back to it real quick too.
Poop and pee and
About
boogers.
3 minutes ago, you called him Mr. Mancini. He's Captain
Yes,
Mancini.
Captain
Captain.
He didn't go to fucking captain school for 4
He
years.
didn't go to
Chris.
Manzini
to be
school.
called
To
Mister.
be called fucking Mister.
I think he was an
Just to
admiral.
reuse a joke we did 20
Sorry,
minutes
Cap.
ago.
Sorry, Cap.
Didn't
But-
he say that he was in the military and it was when the atom was split he quit? I thought he said that.
No.
Yeah, there was something about when they started dropping bombs. He was like, "I just had to let go."
That's what
I
he,
left this world
No.
for my things.
he said that was a weird thing too. He gave it like some kind of hint that he had some control over the universe that he was living in.
He clearly
then
does have powers.
And then when mankind hit it to that point of violence, he was just kind of done with mankind.
I think that's I think Captain Manzini is actually more
Like, do you think he's a
powerful
good-
than he lets on.
do you think he's like I almost kind of got the notion that he's a godlike figure.
He's
Yeah.
just like a wizard,
But
a
he's
Just like
magician.
a dude with some magic,
No,
man.
I
He doesn't
think-
even know how to put him back in the fucking
Here's the thing.
can.
Well,
I got-
because there's no magic anymore because
Because
you
that-
can't get
but then
goddamn horns to.
The reason he could I think that was the whole thing of like just of let this kid go through this adventure because he's gonna have to learn how to stick up for himself. Like,
I don't know. I don't get
dude,
that.
this movie, you can say it's a kids movie, man, but this is a puberty fucking movie,
Oh,
man.
it is for sure.
There's like almost TNA in this movie.
Oh, there is. Yeah,
for sure.
Tits all
Okay,
over.
so
Especially
this.
the end.
This wasn't because this actually wasn't even supposed to be like a kids movie. Like, so originally John Paul Buchler, who worked on Troll and he worked on Ghoulies, he actually directed the first Troll. He was the original guy tapped to actually direct this, and he wanted to do like a straight horror movie. And they turned it down. So he said, "Oh, I'll still stay on as a special effects guy." He does all the special effects for all the Garbage Pail Kids. But you see actually like little parts of him in the film. So if you go down the staircase, who's seen Troll 1? Has anybody seen Troll 1?
I've seen it. It's been a long time, but
There's a picture, a big portrait of her husband and her, and then it's like the woman that like kind of like tells the kid to go on the quest, kind of bullshit. So that picture is actually right on the staircase as one of the artifacts, and the next one is a picture of John Carl Buchler like with a ghoulie in his hand. Like, there's a ghoulie off to the side. So, like, I feel like he had a lot of influence on the film. I think you could kind of tell, like, maybe, this was something that he was originally super tapped for. But I think the movie was such a kid's, like, they didn't, I guess they, based on who they thought their audience was going to be, they were like, we can't do a fucking horror movie. You're nuts. Like, we got to do, like, a kid's movie. And he was like, all right, I'm going to do the best I can to help you.
Yeah.
So he did create some pretty creepy ass
Do you
fucking
think that
kids. They're the best. I mean, let's be real. They're the best thing about the film is kind of like the effects to make the kids.
I thought they
all
looked fucking terrifying.
Terrifying, and you could tell because, like, I mean, look at the trolls.
But I feel like they're
look at the fucking ghoulies.
I do feel like they're unintentionally terrifying.
No, I think intentionally, and I
don't think he knows how to do it any other way.
They're totally playing up, like, again, the childishness of pimples and snot and drool and like things that make you go ew, but they're not like.
No, but the creepiest one.
Do you think it changed when Pepsi got on board with this film?
Not even just Pepsi. I mean, you're talking about the entire film is product placement.
Yeah, but it's a Tops. It's a Tops. Who knows who owned Tops at the time? It's just like easy
true.
Product placement.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
a movie made by a fucking marketing, like a fucking product company. The movie, like, so.
No, you're right.
But I was gonna say that the creepiest looking fucking one in this is the most normal looking one, which is the fucking
the baby.
No, not the baby.
The baby is creepy looking.
The greaser.
The greaser guy, yeah.
Greaser guy's like supposed to be like
Greg?
the most normal looking one, and he looks the most terrifying in this movie. Like his face doesn't work. It has one it has one pose and then eyes move. Like there's one facial expression that it has.
Yeah, it's like the one they did the least amount of work with, but like it came
it's
out
and it's the most normal one. Like it'd be really easy to make this one look normal, and they put the least effort in.
Yeah.
So, the trash can is in the. That's where he left off. But
we could jump around.
No, story wise. But no, what I was gonna say is I wanted to get to the next part of the story, which is just the opening of the film of this fucking kid getting chased by these 30-year-olds through a fucking park.
Yeah, that's the weirdest part about this movie, man. It's like so bizarre.
Not convincing. It looked like adults chasing a small child.
Dude, they were like,
it is.
It looked like they were going on a jog.
But like
that's exactly what it is.
Know
Chris.
Something weird though? The girl that plays Tangerine, how old do you think she is?
Like in the movie, what her age is supposed to be, or
in real life?
In real life,
20 maybe in the movie.
In real life, she's probably 15.
Yeah, she's like around 15.
And
years
she was
old.
supposed
she's
to be
actually dating the kid. Like they were dating during this movie, and they broke up.
The main kid.
Yeah, like they're only a year off each other.
Oh,
but
wow.
she went put next to like a 30-year-old dude. Like I was like, you could be like 27 or 15. Like I don't know. She definitely has like that. Like
Well, the rest she's the only one that you get that vibe from. The rest of them have facial hair.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, even the.
What are you talking about?
The gang.
The gang of
Juice's gang.
Juice's gang.
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah, the
Christ.
leader of the gang's name is Juice, by the way.
The chick, the guy with the gloves.
That
guy with the gloves.
That tough chick. Jesus,
And
she hated like pants, didn't she?
China.
Yeah,
Like-
she wasn't a fan.
Tangerine, Dodger. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
What?
Well, they all have
They're
weird
all there.
names
They're
too.
all there.
But anyways,
They're all there, guys. Just double checked.
But they basically chased this kid down for his like fucking pants money.
Yeah.
I hold him upside down and
then
take his fucking lunch money.
Dude, I'm like just like how much shit water is in this town because they throw them in the fucking water
There's no water that isn't full of shit.
in this town.
And any clean water that was clean
Yeah.
ended up having
plus-
shit in it.
Plus, they're in a park where there's lots of people in this town, and
Nobody
not,
even looking.
Not one person goes, "Hey, we should call the cop on these
No.
30 on
This
this
is so
30-year-old."
common.
This is Juice's town.
Can
This
I tell
is
you
so
something?
common.
This feels like it's the world of street trash a little bit,
Yeah.
but like
does.
through the mind of a teenager.
Yeah.
It does
A little bit nicer,
Yeah, I
but
agree
not
with
by
that.
much.
Not by much.
Yeah, it's a lawless fucking town. Like these guys like rule a bridge, I guess. I don't know, a park. What do they run?
The whole
Everywhere.
town.
Everywhere.
The whole town
That's
apparently.
their turf.
They just pick somebody week by week and shake them down for some fucking milk money, and
and then you got the
We
weird.
got like $4 out of the whole
we-
chase.
You got strong chick who's just like I love a bunch of psychos, and then Tangerine's like, yeah, but you stay away from Juice. He's mine, and like she's into this shit, right? Because her character goes through this like wishy washy of like
oh yeah,
I can't even describe her character development. It's so fucking crazy.
It's all over the place. It makes no sense. At one point in time, it seems to be that she's the only nice one on this gang that wants this kid to stop being bullied. Right?
Yeah.
And then you think, wow, she's got a heart. And then all of a sudden she starts hanging out with them and you're thinking like, okay, like he's going to turn her from the dark side, so to speak.
Never does.
And then like you find out like she's totally like
Using him the whole
I'm gonna
time.
use him the whole time.
She double downs on manipulation.
Yeah,
But,
it's
like,
but it comes out of nowhere. Like where
well, no,
where did
she sees
bury
her. She sees
humanity?
a personal gain, which is first and foremost her small business that she runs, which is selling
Yeah.
clothes outside of a hip dance
What,
club.
and that's the other thing too.
But here's the thing:
Instantly.
she could have done that herself without the gang. She brings the gang in for some reason.
Instantly.
Well, I feel like
she
she's
doesn't have a
controlled.
choice.
She's controlled by
She doesn't-
Juice
yeah,
to some degree.
Juice is her pimp.
Yeah.
Is her fashion pimp, dude.
Like as soon as she makes all that money, he's grabbing the box. He's like, yeah.
That's like the weird thing about this movie. It has adult fucking themes that like you're like Juice is like you're watching. You're like Juice is a pimp, but she just sells clothes instead of her body. Like that's like the difference.
Wait, Juice.
Juice.
Yeah,
Juice
he-
is
yeah.
100% Tangerine's pimp.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
That's how they
gotcha.
play it off
Gotcha.
in this.
Yes.
It does have this like underlying weird sexual themes like in certain
Throughout-
parts in this movie.
Dude, so after they throw him in this fucking shit lake, that's not even like really a lake, it's like a shit puddle
Yeah.
in the middle of the park.
Shit puddle.
He fucking he goes back to work and and they bring up the first time he's stinky, that his boss brings up that he's stinky.
Yeah.
But we're not to the weird part yet.
Nope.
No, he uses magic to turn on the washer machine, and that's basically where it ends.
Yeah,
in that
basically where
scene.
that fucking ends.
Yeah.
And then he's just at work and Tangerine happens to walk by again and look in the store and he talks her into coming in. And during all that time they have the discussion about Pandora's box and the fucking
Right.
garbage
Right, yeah, it's a
garbage
big-
pail
it's a
kids.
big important-
big important thing. Next thing you know, Juice shows up after, because Dodger's like, come look at my store.
I feel like he's
Yeah,
pretty
I
fucking
got,
brave,
I got
dude.
buttons. I got beads.
Yeah, you can make
I got
you can,
medals.
You can use this to make your clothes. So she comes in, she's not impressed or whatever, and then in comes Juice and
He's
they
like touching it. Don't you touching my woman?
yeah,
That's what he
they
says.
fuck this kid up for being a 12-year-old kid who's attracted
That's
to
the
an
thing that
older
just
girl.
made no sense, man. He's just like gets so angry at this fucking 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
He
It's like,
just
who's this
can't-
upset?
So angry that they try to beat him up in the store. They knock the trash can over. They take him outside. Throw him
I will
down a sewer.
I did want to say Dodger had some good moves. He was using the basketball. He was
Yeah.
using
Yeah.
the skateboard. Like, he's quick on his feet, but
But-
he ultimately can't get away.
But this is where, like, also, like, you're thinking, oh man, okay, she's starting to turn on Juice in them. Tangerine is, because she's like, no, don't do it. Like, don't be mean to him. And as they're like going down it seems like he's forcing her down to watch this shit.
He practically like threw her down the manhole cover.
Yeah, Juice like throws her
face
down
first.
and they literally just
Belt him to the pipe, right?
yeah.
Yeah, they
Belt him
basically
to the pipe.
chain him to some pipes and then open up the poop
And then
faucet.
try to drown him in
could
shit
die.
water.
You
Yeah.
could die if you got you got all that bacteria in your
raw
fucking
raw
face,
sewage
dude.
and shit. Yeah,
It's fucking disgusting.
it is.
Which, with all that happened so far, brings us to the real what the fuck moment of this movie, Which is when the Garbage Pail Kids, because they've been let loose, come down to the sewer. They get him and they bring him back, and they wake him up with a fart. Funny. I'm sorry, farts are funny, but they wake him up with a fart. That's the funniest part of the movie. And after that, Captain comes home, because I don't know what else to call this place. It's not really a fucking place of work.
It's antique
Novelty
shop.
shop.
And basically tells him, "Hey, dude, time to take a bath."
Yeah, you stink. Let's get you a bath. And he marches him downstairs to the basement, and then
The next scene, it opens with them
we cut to him in a bubble bath. Cat Manzini sitting by, and then all of the Garbage Pail Kids just surrounding the
Surrounding him.
bathtub, staring at
in
him.
the tub.
Yeah.
And it's just such a weird feeling scene.
Well,
he
even when he
starts
gets
off with, like,
out-
a close up of his like foot, like
oh yeah, his
outline,
little
like,
foot,
Well,
and
yeah.
the alligator's gonna try to eat the foot.
eat the toes. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
And then when
yeah.
when he gets out of the tub, they're definitely checking this kid out.
So yeah, there's a lot of
There's a
weird
lot of hot dogs
sexual.
in this movie too.
Yeah, well, that's true. No, there's a lot of weird sexual fucking things in this film. Like, there's this scene, right? There's a scene where one of the Garbage Pail Kids asks the kid if he wants to suck face,
Yeah.
Yes.
which is just like the 80s.
Not
Yeah.
once though have I ever.
Wait, but there's one more that's really creepy. The scene where fucking the greaser guy
Yeah.
comes out and he's been playing
Doctor.
doctor, and it's clear that he's been molesting one of his Garbage Pail Kid friends, who's a girl.
I feel
Like, that's clearly what's happening under there.
I almost feel like it's weird. They like draw you know where they draw the line between, are they adult kids? Like, you know, because like they
Yes.
seem to have like like
I'm assuming, well, they're aliens, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming they're hundreds of years old.
Their demeanor reminds me a lot of the same demeanor that the aliens have in
explorers.
and no, in that fucking
Space Invaders.
Space Invaders.
Yeah.
Like, they gotta have the same similar demeanor of like, we're just gonna fuck shit up just cause.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
that same
they
vibe,
definitely do,
absolutely.
but they're sexually active and willing to fuck humans.
Well, they're
Oh, yeah.
adults.
That's
they
what
are
I'm saying.
definitely-
Like, that's the
they're-
weird thing about this
Like,
film.
well, kind of like well,
Garbage Pail Kids, but they're adults.
Yeah.
the whole bathtub scene is just. I've just, like I said, in my whole life though, Mike,
Yeah, so weird.
I've never had a boss offer to bathe me. And that's where I just gotta draw the line
Yeah.
with this one. I'm just like, okay, this is a place of business.
So you need to
number
get
one.
yourself a job with an eccentric old man.
Yeah, who just wants to bathe me with his
who
friends.
means well.
Yeah.
With his friends that he keeps
Can I just
locked
add-
up.
I
Keeps
feel-
calling them kids.
I feel like you could probably find an old guy that will bathe
Bathe
you.
me. Yeah. While his
You
friends
look-
watch.
You
I
look
was-
close enough.
While his friends
You
watch.
help
right.
him clean up his dusty old antiques.
We'll get emails after this. Like, so is he serious? or-
So, like, does he really want me to bathe him?
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, I have a tub.
Guys, I've got a tub.
Start coming in through the
I've-
request
I-
line.
And I also own an antique
I've
shop.
got a tub that's in the direct center of a basement. We can make this happen.
So then, from this point on, the Garbage Pail Kids are like, "Hey, dude, we realize that you're in love with this tangerine girl, and we're gonna help you fucking snag her. We're gonna make you the sickest Michael Jackson jacket you have ever fucking seen, and we're gonna give her a fucking lady boner, and you're in like Flint."
Well, before this, I do want to point out, going back to Dodger, like, this kid does not learn his fucking lesson. He got chained in the sewer and had raw sewage poured on him. And immediately after his bath, he's like, "Hey, Tangerine, you want any help? Can I come hang out with you?" And it's just like, dude, like,
he is not
back off,
afraid.
man.
There was
This is
no, but there wasn't that like when you were that age, there wasn't that one girl where you were like,
Hold
"I
on.
would do anything
No,
for you."
no, not to the point of getting beaten on.
Yeah.
This is a weird thing about this kid because as I'm watching it, like, they could have played this character two ways, right? A whiny little kid that's getting beat up all the time, that's like trying to escape these bullies, or like this I don't give a zero fucks kind of kid who just keeps going back despite the fact of getting beat up. If he isn't playing both parts in this, because that's the weird thing, is that his character goes back and forth. There are times where he breaks down like a little crybaby and just like almost goes into the fetal position and he believes it. Like, this kid is acting his fucking heart out.
Yeah. He is.
Well, then his arc as well.
Because
like,
when he's
at the
aggressive, you're
end.
right, he's doing some fucking, like, he's mad. Like, I don't understand what his goal was in this, but I think he was just poorly written and the kid just tried to act as
kid?
best he could. Yeah.
Yeah.
His goal was to get laid. I honestly
Well, yes,
think that's what his
believe
goal
that,
was.
But like, there are moments where he breaks down like a little child and completely cries.
Yeah, well, and he even how he handles some of the sexual situations is it makes it makes it so uncomfortable because he acts like such a kid.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so
Where
weird.
he's like, oh my god, a boob.
when she takes
Should
her
I
top
feel
off
this
to
way?
when she takes her top off to sell it, he's like, "Oh, hand me that shirt." He like
backs away in fear.
Just give me a moment. Let me let this pass really quick, and then I'll be able to stand
he
up
backs
again.
away from her boob in fear.
Yeah.
Like he's
I'm sure that was I believed the magic
Dude.
in his eyes at that moment.
That's what I'm saying.
I did
Like,
believe
he
it.
is
Like,
I'm serious. I think he's acting his fucking heart out in this film.
well, even at the very end, if we can jump to that, like
What?
his arc is he finally gets the opportunity to be like, because she kind of like, she's like, I'm sorry for all those horrible things I did to you. And
love
he's
it.
like, nope.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
he's
that.
like, I don't
You're
think
just
you're
not
pretty anymore.
Dude,
Yeah.
fucking loved
Burns.
that line.
I was
That
like,
was my favorite line of the movie.
shit.
It's a burn.
I'll tell you what though,
Hard.
let's talk about that end scene real quick. If you want to talk about sexual natures too, man, when the Garbage Pail Kids just start ripping off women's clothes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
What kind of
telling you,
kid? What kids movie have you ever seen that in, Chris? Where they're just ripping off, and these ladies are literally in like fucking thongs, and they're purposely running across the scene.
You see the
screen
same
several
one.
times.
You
Yeah.
see the same one in every shot with the
Yeah.
yellow bikini on
Yes.
every time, just always in a different corner of the screen.
Yep.
Like this movie does have a weird sexual vibe.
Yeah,
to it.
like I said, it feels like a film that was. It's like a bunch
Ahead
of
of its
guys
time, you're right.
Got together. They said we're gonna make like a really fucked up film, and then all of a sudden, like the company came in and said, "No, you're not." And they were like, "All right, like what are we gonna do? We still have jobs. I guess we could
Yeah.
try to get
Kid
some of
it
this
up
in
a
here."
little.
Yeah, is that a little
Like, let's see if we can get like at least one scene.
Let's talk about some of the Garbage Pail Kids themselves. So we've already kind of talked about Greaser Greg, who's a greaser who just pulls a knife out on fucking people all the time.
He really doesn't have a gross gimmick
He
like
knows
the others.
chicks
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, he
And
doesn't.
there's one
he
thing he
doesn't
knows.
have
He
a
knows
gimmick.
chicks.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a gimmick. I liked Alligator probably the most.
There's Valerie.
He's
Hold
the
on.
leader.
There's Valerie Vomit, who I don't. Does she throw up once throughout this movie?
She
threw
does.
up at the end.
She's-
At
That's
the end,
her
that's right.
final
That's
move.
the
right.
final move. Yeah.
The waterfall.
She gets punched in the gut.
Yeah.
She get into
She asked to get punched in the gut, basically.
yeah, she's like,
Alligator.
hit me.
who is literally an alligator.
Yeah.
I don't understand his point. Like, is he a?
half human, half alligator.
Well, he's not. Maybe he's all alien, half alligator.
all alien for
Like, I don't know
sure.
how to put this because he's
All
not
alien,
human, so he's
half
not a cannibal, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, he half cannibal if he's half
No,
human.
But
he's
he's not
a
human.
half human. None of these are even remotely human. These are aliens.
Okay,
Yeah.
but like he's definitely half alligator,
He's definitely half alligator.
half whatever alien
He's
is.
like 90% alligator, 10% human.
He has a blonde hair.
He can't be human though.
Okay, he's 10% alien, 90% alligator.
Do you think like they're
He's a weird guy. He
Can I ask you
eats,
a question?
he eats people.
Here's
he eats
my
people's
thing.
toes. He's obsessed with toes.
Yeah, he just wants to eat
That's
toes.
like a
Because
foot
of foot
fetish
fetish
Do you
thing,
think
yeah.
like
Yes.
do you think the Garbage Pail Kids are in like the Transformers and the fact like they like crash landed on Earth and their ooze is like let me scan for what life
I think
forms
that's
around.
exactly.
Yeah,
well,
they
I don't know about that.
They came here looking for the Allspark.
Yeah.
and they
Wouldn't it
got
be funny
lost
they were
along the way.
also looking for the Allspark.
There's Foul Phil, who I believe was the baby.
Forgettable.
That's the baby.
The
And
baby.
Yeah, I didn't really.
I
quite
guess
That,
it's
that
got
look at that
bad
baby.
breath.
That
It's
look
got
at that.
bad
That
breath.
look at that baby is fucking crazy looking.
It is
terrifying.
creepy.
It looks like a really. It looks like some people I've met.
Yeah.
That's what's creepy about it. Like I've seen dudes that look like that.
Damn.
Windy.
Fucking-
There's Windy Winston, which is the guy who farts.
Windy.
Windy.
Winston.
Yeah. Messy Tessie, which is the booger one.
Snots. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Eating
And then
boogers.
my least favorite of them all, just because I can't figure out how he works,
The nerd.
Nat the nerd.
Not the nerd.
He
He's just a
pisses
nerd.
himself.
He pisses himself.
He
That's
doesn't.
it.
He never pisses himself. He always pisses outside of his pants. I'm like, it would make sense if you showed the pants getting wet, but it's literally just. I'm like,
know-
does his dick flop out every time he pees?
Well, can I say that you
and
can
just flop back in?
you can see what they did. They ran there's actually one scene where you can definitely see the hose sticking out from underneath the leg.
Yeah.
They probably were just like, all right, we want to make it look like he's peeing himself, but like in reality, when you piss your pants, it takes a while because it has to get through all the layers.
It takes a while.
So they were like, how do we speed this up
Pissing
so
your
we
pants
can
with
get this thing
Mike
to piss on
Saluccio.
command?
So it's going to take a while to start coming out the bottom.
So here's the thing: if you're wearing cotton, there's more absorbency.
Yeah,
so
if you got, you got denim on?
that's gonna cut your time in half.
I'm not one to get uncomfortable, but I feel like
This conversation?
No, the pissing of this character made me feel slightly weird. Like it was like when I
Like in a sexual way?
Yeah. Like, did you get excited?
I didn't get excited. I got the
learned something about
opposite of
yourself?
excited.
Yeah.
I got a little disgusted by it in a weird way. I was like, it's kind of a weird character trait, and the fact that they show it for so long and
Dude,
so many times.
Can I tell you
Many
what?
times.
I'm like, why?
I think it's in the movie 13 or 14 fucking times.
That's what I'm saying.
And like,
It's
it won't
like
be,
a little
they'll
overdone.
They'll literally be 6 miles away with the camera and ultra zoom in on him fucking taking a piss in a scene.
Why did they want
It's
us to
real
see
weird.
him pissing so much? And like and those
I'm like, he
zits.
just couldn't be nerdy. He just couldn't have zits and be nerdy. He had to piss it everywhere all the time, too.
Yes.
And like,
Yeah.
who wants to hang out with that dude?
Nobody. Who
Who
would
was
want
that
to be?
guy?
Who would
No,
wanna
but
hang out with
everybody,
you
everybody got
Yeah.
upset about it.
Yeah,
But this is a great collection of people who are gross that nobody else wants to hang out, so they're
You know,
friends.
I'd hang out with Greaser Greg.
See, and that's the weird thing too. Like, I don't understand why Greaser Greg's there.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because he's got such a weird personality. He can only hang out with the fart
I
kid
guess,
and the
but I
vomit
guess if
kid.
if you're all aliens,
Maybe
from
the
another
garbage
planet
pail,
where
like,
your entire planet's like this.
yeah.
Like these are just
So they just must get a lot of TV, and he just was like way into TV on his planet. So he
I
took
don't know
on a
what his
greaser
thing was.
mentality.
He just watched a lot of Happy
West
Days.
Side Story
Yeah.
or Happy Days, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know.
So-
Anyways,
As this movie goes on, we find out that half of them are missing too, and they're in the state home for the ugly. That's another thing.
Which is a
what
thing.
a weird oppressive force that exists in this world.
Dude,
That
can
looks
I,
like Hollywood Squares.
can I tell you? Can I tell
It
you?
fucking does.
You want to talk about the most oppressive thing you've ever seen is how about fucking too fat, too this, too short, too
Yeah.
crippled?
Yeah,
Too crippled?
Too
That was a
crippled.
weird one.
That was a real one. Too crippled.
The weird one though I thought was too silly. Which
Yeah.
was just a clown.
Yeah.
Which I'm just like, all right, so if a guy, you could get thrown in this place for just like choosing a profession.
Yeah.
That
You're-
they just deem
you
as
can be a
being
clown,
like, you know
but you
what?
can't be a funny clown.
I feel
I
like
don't like this.
this is clearly like I feel like this was kind of like a deep message or something here for the film.
Do
I
you
don't
think
think
so?
so at all.
Yeah.
Out of here.
I don't think so
Can
at
I
all.
just say something? I did get there was a moment where I'm like, are they trying to say
I don't think so.
I
I
think
think
there's something they're trying to say here. I don't know if they even know what it is,
This
but they're
is
like
crazy.
Lock up your happiness. Don't be too silly.
Yeah.
we're oppressed.
Don't be too
again,
fat.
The
Don't be too-
oppressiveness, right? Like too fat, too ugly.
this
too,
just felt
Where
like
does too
this just felt
crippled
like a
come into
bunch-
that one then, Chris?
This felt like a group of people who were like, "Oh, we're gonna make this
Outcasts.
badass horror movie," and they're like, "No, it can't be a horror movie." So then they're just throwing shit at a wall.
Well, no,
something about
the
out-
original thing was supposed to be something along the lines of like, the kids let loose like some monsters that end up like murdering people or something like that. Like it was a
That's
totally
a great story.
It was a totally different like plot.
Somebody, if you're listening and you have the power, remake this with the original script.
There was a remake that was in the works in 2012, I believe, and that went nowhere.
Really, I wonder why.
I don't.
I don't.
Yes, and
They were like, we made $600,000.
Yeah.
We deserve.
We deserve a
sequel.
remake. God damn it!
It's everything I was reading was like saying this was a bomb, and I'm like, well, it made its budget back.
It made its
not
budget
that
back.
much of a bomb.
Well, and,
like,
yeah, I mean, and
barely making your budget back because you have to
Yeah, but
factor
dude,
in
your
budgets never include marketing costs. and
I
shit.
know, but they already had marketing on lock with
it just
this shit.
I feel like it didn't. They didn't lose money.
They didn't lose any. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like they made $400K.
I mean, maybe it was a disappointment due to projections. Maybe they thought in their mind,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, man, Garbage Pail Kids are like really popular.
There was like
Right.
no legitimate projections made. They just thought it would do good. Like, oh, this is a knockout
Can I
of the
tell you
park.
something? I
McDonald's
think
is
that's
picking it up.
absolutely what used to happen in the 80s and the 90s.
Want to hit on a couple other things real quick before we go to our reviews here shortly. Fucking musical number out of nowhere in the middle
Yeah,
of
that's
that
a weird
weird
moment.
thing.
That's a weird
I'm not gonna
moment.
lie. I fast forwarded through that.
We can work together. Come on,
Yeah,
Kyle.
I fast forwarded through it. I've seen it twice. I don't need to see it a third time.
this is definitely one of those moments where it was like,
It's the worst part of this film.
exactly why I think people would say this might be a cult film is because of shit like this. Like, and there's not a lot of moments in this
Dude.
movie that have like these like that have that randomness, I guess, like that. But I was like, this is the only song. It's the cheesiest, most
Yes.
elementary school song you've ever heard, and it's totally contrast against the type of humor that this movie is, which is a little bit more gross out kind of humor. So I don't know what the what the thought behind this was. Was it because we're gonna have the 5-year-olds watching and we need to give it a song? Like that needs to be a part of the formula here.
Jeez, how
I think so.
pissed would you be if you were a parent in 1987 and you took your kid to see this
my
and they
God.
were singing this in the whole drive home?
So
I probably wanted to die.
the other thing I'll hit too, which is agreeing with Mike, and I feel bad for the kid, but the kid who played Dodger was definitely trying to act his fucking ass off. And the reason I bring it up is because there's a particular scene for some reason that stuck with me, so I want to talk to you guys to see if it stuck with you too. And that's the scene where like it's kind of revealed that that Tangerine is this evil person, and she's helped Juice lock these creatures away in the state home for the ugly, and it's at this big event that she's holding for these clothes that these creatures
Fashion show,
yeah.
yeah.
That these creatures designed.
Big event.
But this scene is so fucking dramatic.
It's
and
super
so
dramatic.
serious that it is fucking balls to the wall amazing. She's literally just staring into a mirror and just her face doesn't break, and she's dead serious, and she's like, "You've betrayed them. I just gave you the key." And then like he's trying his ass off because he's like Tangerine, just tell me where they are, and she's like I can't, and he's like, just tell me, and she's like no, and he's like, just tell me.
Yeah, he gets
Tell me.
so intense.
Jesus Christ.
He does that, and there's also that scene where he's like, there's a fight scene between him and Juice.
Oh, and he cries. At the
Oh,
end.
that's a good
Like,
fight
and he is
scene.
like, when he gets a few punches in, he is hauling like.
Well,
Yeah.
It looks like he's really
All right.
throwing.
Like he's
throwing
going into it, but
dukes.
like that fight just reminded me of the fight in fucking A Christmas Story when he finally fights
Yes.
Scott Farkas
Yeah.
and he starts crying at the end. Like I was just like, oh come on, you're crying. He's just like, I want to go home. He's not worth it. It was
I kept wondering
Fuck
if
so many
there were
weird things.
stunt doubles going on in these scenes.
Yes,
Like, 'cause I was
there
like,
was a part where Dodger looks back at the camera and I was like, did that kid get like 10 years older?
yes, he did.
Holy shit.
He definitely did.
Like that's how he looks when he's angry. He
Or, like,
ages.
when Manzini scales like the side of that building and like jumps down and shit, I'm like, is that him? Like, is he doing his own
Probably
stunts?
not.
up
Oh
here?
yeah,
He is.
I definitely think
He was.
any-
Captain Manzini did everything in this movie.
Maybe they needed the real McCoy.
his real life name is Captain Manzini.
Dude,
Wait,
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I do want to talk about the ending.
where they go, where like the small soldier ending, where they just go off to find their own homeland.
Well, no,
that's what it felt like.
It gets real dark when like. So they escape the house of the ugly. Well, first of all, the house of the ugly. They explain exactly what they do to these people,
Yeah,
which
they
is they
kill
throw
'em.
them in a trash compactor and crush them to death.
Yeah.
They're about to do that. They escape. Whatever. Blah blah blah. Happy
Bunch
ending.
of other shit happens that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. But one of the weird things that happens is the kid Dodger asks Captain Manzini, like, "Well, what about the other kids?" And he says,
just passes it off.
"What's that?"
He just passes it off. He's like, ah.
Yeah.
It's just
But
like,
what he says is it's so dark. He's like, we lost them to the trash compactor.
Yeah.
Like clearly these aliens were crushed to death.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, he's
And
just,
you're right. They just go, oh well, fuck it, and they just
Yeah.
go on with their happy lives.
They do because he says that and it's immediately followed up. Someone says some like upbeat thing like, woohoo, let's go, guys. Yeah. And it's just like, people died just now.
Yeah.
Like, we just got
Like, this was the
realization.
main
No.
like motivation for the
You can get
the other
over it.
Garbage Pail Kids. Did they just like?
You can get over it if you work together.
Cody's-
Anyways, weird
Cody
ending.
sets up a joke.
Very
on Cold
dark
Film and Review.
ending, in my opinion.
Maybe there's just a lot more Garbage Pail Kids where they came from. And
There were thousands.
probably a
I
planet.
remember the
Disposable.
carts.
A whole planet, and on there, the planet is called Cybertron.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
looking
yeah.
for the Allspark.
They're looking for the
Garbage Pail
Allspark.
planet.
Again, also looking for the Allspark.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's take a break. When we come back, we will rate this jammer. We'll be right back. And we're back. We're talking about Garbage Pail and we're back. What do you say we just rate this jammer?
Cody, what do you want to rate the Garbage Pail Kids?
Oh, man, that's, I guess, garbage pails.
okay.
Wow.
You really disagreed with that
Chris
one.
didn't
No.
like that.
That's why I want it more now.
Okay, Garbage
Yeah, I
Pails.
just want a nice garbage pail.
All right.
Something
With,
plain.
with like vomits
No,
like dry to the side of
clean
it.
one. A nice clean
Piss
one.
in Garbage Pail.
Yeah. I'm tired of seeing
Piss in a garbage pail.
I'm tired of seeing weird prepubescent sex and fucking piss. So
Prepubescent sex piss.
Sex piss.
let's start with, and it says spaceship trash can too. Let's start with
Yeah, make sure you get those rocket boosters
Yeah,
on
make
there,
sure you get
please.
those, please. Rocket boosters.
We need
please.
rocket boosters.
Let's go with Kyle first.
Garbage Pail Kids. I'm not gonna lie, guys. It took me quite a few tries to get through this movie. I think I watched it over the span of 3 days, and the first day, I told you guys off camera, whatever. It took me 2 hours to get through the first 30 minutes of this film. Fuck, this movie's boring to me. Don't get me wrong, I could totally see the cult qualities that it has, for sure. It's just such a wacky idea and such a bizarre-ass film with just an insane cast of characters and a poorly written lead and a even down to poorly written, like, protagonists. Like, the gang guys have I don't know why they do what they do. There's no explanation why they would zero in on a 12-year-old or why a 12-year-old would zero in on an 18-year-old Tangerine.
Like
A 12-year-old fashion designer at that.
It's insanity to me.
They're either like, this is why I'm sorry that I have to bring this up. They're either like
Review.
a
Yeah.
fucking
Like it's not a conversation at this point.
But are they crime lords or are they fucking like just like petty criminals?
Crime lords.
It's just assholes.
They have all this time to shake down all these kids, though.
Yeah. Just
Anyways, sorry.
Crime lords.
Anyhow, I don't know what I was talking about. The going back to poorly written, like, in general, most things. I actually feel like the best written character is probably Captain Manzini, because I was the most interested in his history and his backstory and how he collected everything. I felt like everything had a story that would have been more enjoyable to hear about than the Garbage Pail Kids. I'm coming in at a 2 on this one. It's getting a 2 because there's no denying the cult film status I feel like this film has. So it's definitely getting points for that. But I don't know if I'm giving it points for anything else. So, yeah,
Mike?
2.
I'm gonna give it a 1.5. Like, for like again, like for all the reasons that Kyle probably did. Like, it's just like it's boring. It's really unfunny toilet humor jokes. Like, they're not even like funny like.
I like a good toilet humor,
Yeah.
but this one
I
didn't
love
have
a good toilet
Okay,
humor.
but like this one is like it's just they're unfunny. There's something that like a 7-year-old would
not find
make
funny.
a joke out of. Yeah, would even also not. Yeah, it's just the only thing that gives it up like a half a star is the fact that like it has such a weird factor to it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Like, if somebody asks like, "Do I want to see this?" I'm like, "Do you really want to see like a weird ass spectacle?" Like, yeah, because it feels like
It's like a circus sideshow or something. I don't know.
yeah, but it's not like so bad that like it's not like Troll 2 bad level like costumes. Like, the makeup is actually not too badly done. But it's just so weird and fucked up looking because they're trying to capture the artistry of these top cards that I don't even know who the artist was that made those, but like he had to have done them all, right?
Yeah.
Is it like one guy? I don't know.
But it wasn't even like an original design because they were like perfect, like stylistically mirrored off of Cabbage Patch Kids. So it's
Well,
not like
yes.
you're not like you're creating a new artistic style. You're simply taking an artistic style and simply, making fun of it.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, but what I'm saying is like that's the one thing that I could say about this film that like it's not they didn't fuck that up.
Yeah.
Like, they did capture what these fucking kids look like, but it's just not enough to bring this film up to anything. I mean, it's just not enough.
Cool.
Chris!
Yeah, there's elements that I like about this movie that I definitely see why it falls into that cult status. There's a couple things that I, clearly didn't remember from the last time I watched it. Like, we didn't bring it up, but the scene where the God, what the fuck is his name? Dodger. Smells Tangerine's hair. I'm like, oh my, like that made me chuckle. The stupid song in the beginning, like the craziness of the characters and like the gross factor that they bring to the film. Like, I like all these things, but it's just not enough to like say it's a good movie or that it's even like, I wouldn't even like put it in a top 5 of like so bad it's good, because I agree with what Mike said. Like, there's not enough like bad in it to be like, oh, this was like a misstep that is now magical because of that reason. It's more just like, Yeah, they were going. This is a time when I feel like you could get $1 million to do a weird idea like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or this movie, and you could try these weird high concept things. And some worked and some didn't. I think this was like a play through advertising and marketing, and it worked to some degree. I feel like in my childhood I grew up with these characters and I remember them, so there's that part of it. But yeah, the movie doesn't really hold up for me. It's too boring, and it's only an hour and 30 minutes. It doesn't have enough going on, and yeah, overall, check it out for like a weird watch. But 1.5, I'm not a big fan of this. I don't know that I need to even go back and watch it again.
Since you mentioned it, did anybody else like an hour into this film be like, Jesus Christ, how fucking long is this movie?
I didn't get that opportunity because I watched it
in
30-minute chunk,
intervals.
and then I watched it in like a 45-minute chunk, and then the last 15 minutes right before I showed up here.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I got like 65 minutes into it, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, there's
couldn't do
25
it.
more minutes left of this?
Couldn't do it.
So I agree with Chris on like the elements of having like the weird creatures and all this other stuff, all that stuff on there, and then.
What do you mean? What you asked about, like liking that shit?
Yeah, liking that stuff,
Okay.
like liking those things that, and then somehow with So Bad It's Good movies, like this one doesn't have any of the charm that a lot of those movies have. Would you think it would with these relatable, like these lovable characters that came from this?
Thank you for changing that
Yeah.
from relatable to lovable.
Yeah. It's relatable characters. I know. I like to fucking fart in people's faces too. So ridiculous.
He really
Super
does.
relatable.
He really does. But yeah, it's like the whole time I was like, after watching this, I felt like it would like when we watched Masters of the Universe, right? Where it was like, did Canon get a hold of this? And just like, I know what the kids will love. Like, I don't know.
Why always with the accent?
Voice, man.
I don't know why I always do that. It just because it's I pictured a foreign director had this film and did not understand any of the fucking source material is what I got. Like,
and that's the voice he always goes with.
that's the voice. It's a non-discriminative.
That's
like,
the canon voice.
canon voice. Who knows where it's from? Where? It's just somewhere. But no, like it just like to me the whole time that's what it felt like. Like where it was like it was written by like I thought it was probably written by somebody who like didn't have a really good grasp on the English language at points. Like, you know what I mean? I was just like, this whole script is such a fucking mess. Like this thing is just a mess. I'm gonna like I said, I'm gonna go with a 2. 1 because it does have a theme song, so it does get a point for that. It has its own movie theme song, and another one because hey, they tried. Like, at least they tried, I don't know. Like
Nothing else enjoyable.
A director doing his best.
I mean, I don't know, man. This movie's such.
I feel like this movie is
such a weird
precisely
thing.
what you get when the marketing division of a trading card company decides to make a movie. That's pretty much what you get.
But the whole weird part of it that I guess that I'm focusing on that makes it feel like a canon film or one of those other films like that is that the weird sexual nature of this film. Like if again, Topps is a baseball like family card company. Pepsi's involved with this. Like these are all these like family companies involved with this, and it has this weird sexual overtone throughout this whole film. And for a family, it's a very weird fucking thing.
They're
I
definitely
don't think
giving.
it's a family film, dude.
Yeah, I just think they are dishing out spank material a little bit in this, like for kids that are like 11, 12
Yeah,
years
I think that's
old.
what they did. Like, I mean, like I said, I think they tried to go one route with it.
But that's the thing, Kyle.
Studio came in and said, "Hey, we got to soften it up for this demographic," and they were just like, "Fuck it."
Yeah, because
I guess.
because they got to know who their demographic is with Garbage Pail Kids. Like the demographic is not going to be 34-year-old Cody going to see
I feel like they have no idea
Even
what
in
the
the-
demographic was for this movie.
even in the
And it
80s. No, they
feels
knew
like
kids
it.
were buying
No,
those
no,
cards, dude. They knew kids were buying
No,
those cards.
that's fine. That's fine about the cards. I'm saying this movie does not feel like anybody knew who the actual target demographic was.
Well, me and your brothers watched it, so it was kids. I think.
Well, no, but clearly a production company came in and told them where they were going to go with it. Like I told you the history. It was supposed to be a horror film.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying the movie doesn't feel like it has any real it doesn't feel like it has a target goal. Like, here's what we're doing, and this is what we're going to shoot for here. It feels like like you said, it feels like a bunch of like pieced together kind of shitty ideas. It started out as a cool idea, and then it got softened down too much because they thought, oh, we need to be a little broader in the audience we hit. And then you end up with this mishmash is what we have, where it doesn't feel like it has any target audience.
Agreed. I understand what you're saying. Like, nobody really knew exactly what they were fucking doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, how do you market this fucking film? Like, there's so much adult themes and trying to, like, force kid themes into it, and then just weird themes in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels like an impossible movie to market.
Did you review the fucking film yet?
Yeah, I gave it to you a long time ago.
Just wanted to make sure.
I gave it to you
just wanted to make sure we didn't like
long time ago. I got my hand back because I'm about to go. All right, guys, that's our show for this week. But before we go, we got a review to read.
Sure do. This one's coming from Gaz VGFC. He gives us 5 stars. This podcast is awesome. He says, I was hooked from the first episode I listened to. So far, I've worked my way through all the episodes of the films that I've heard of, and then started on films that I hadn't, and they're all great. Highly recommended. Gaz. Thanks, Gaz.
Thanks, Gaz. We appreciate that. Hey, guys,
as we say on the show, coming at us from across the pond.
Across the pond. Oh.
Do we say that?
We do.
I think we might have once.
Yeah.
One time.
Sure, once or
It's
twice.
a thing. If you do it once, it's a thing
It's
on this
true.
show.
That is true. If you do it one time, it is a
theme.
thing. Yeah. All right, guys, that's our show for this week. Do us a favor, head over to iTunes, leave us a review. We will give you a shout out at the end of the show like we just did for Gaz. And then head over to Facebook, follow us there. Cult Film _review on Twitter, Cult Film in Review on Instagram. You can follow Kyle at.
You can follow me on Instagram at cultfilm_Kyle.
You can follow Chris at.
Cultfilm_Chris on Instagram.
You can follow Mike
At MikeSolistio on Twitter.
and you can follow me at VHS Collect on Instagram, Snapchat. That's our show for this week. Remember, if you're going to join a cult, just make sure they watch good movies. We'll see you next time.